Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome back to another video. So last week on my channel, I started a mini series where I'm going to be sharing some of the healthy food swaps that I have made in my health and fitness journey. And last week in part one, I talked all about breakfast and brunch food swaps. So today is going to be part two of that mini series, and I have lunch and dinner food swaps for today. Now, if you did happen to miss last week's video, I will leave it linked down below if you do want to check that out. And just like I did in part one, I will put a picture here on the side of the item that I used to eat as it relates to some of these swaps. And as always, if you do enjoy today's video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right, let's get started with today's video. Okay, I want to begin with condiments. First one up is going to be ranch, and the ranch that I used to eat I thought was the best thing ever, you guys, because it fit my calories, it fit my macros, and it also was made from yogurt. And back then I thought, okay, this is made from yogurt. It has to be healthier for me. And in the front of the packaging, it said that it was made with fewer calories and less fat. But I wasn't paying attention to ingredients back then, and I didn't realize that it had an inflammatory oil in there, soybean oil, and it also contained added gums, which if you remember from last week's food swap video, I mentioned that added gums can quickly add up because they're added into so many foods nowadays, and they can be affecting things like your digestive system. So I've switched over to this brand called Tesame's. This is their organic creamy ranch. This one, I personally love the taste of it. It is made with much better ingredients, and it is also dairy and gluten-free. These next two swaps are going to be barbecue sauce and buffalo sauce. Now, the barbecue sauce that I used to eat had things in there like corn syrup and quite a bit of added gums. So I've switched over to this brand called Red Duck, and this is their smoked applewood molasses barbecue sauce. If you enjoy more of a tangy barbecue sauce, highly recommend you check this one out. As far as buffalo sauce, the one that I used to eat contained an inflammatory oil as well that is canola oil. And I actually don't have the buffalo sauce that I now use up here with me. So I'll put a picture here on the side of the one that I now use, but it's from the brand Lola's, and it doesn't contain inflammatory oils. And I've actually used it in the past to make a healthier buffalo dip, and it came out so good, you guys. Moving on to mayonnaise, and this is one I just want to briefly touch on because I think it's so easy to go to the grocery store, try to find a mayo, and just look at the front of the packaging and not think twice about the ingredient label, especially because now there is mayo out there that says that it's made with avocado oil or olive oil, and avocado oil and olive oil are two healthy oils, and I think it's awesome that companies are wanting to incorporate these oils into the mayo, but they're also including inflammatory oils, so things like canola oil or soybean oil, and these just kind of defeat the purpose of incorporating that healthy oil to begin with. So just making sure that we take the time to flip over and look at the ingredient label to see, yes, it's only avocado oil, or yes, it's only olive oil, can make a difference. So the mayo that I now eat, I actually make, and I make it using the Chosen Foods avocado oil. I know exactly what's going in it, and I'm gonna be biased. I think it's one of the best mayos that I have tried. But I understand that, you know, you may not want to make your own mayo at home. So I will put a picture here on the side of a mayo that you can find at the grocery store. And in that mayo, there is only avocado oil. There's no other inflammatory oils included. Okay, next condiment is going to be soy sauce. And this is actually a swap that I recently made myself, so I'm super excited to share it with you guys. But the soy sauce that I was eating before was not organic, and it contained gluten because there was wheat in there. I also did try out coconut aminos, but it was just way too sweet for me. And I really like that salty flavor that you get from soy sauce. So if you're tired of, you know, having coconut aminos and you can have soy, highly recommend you check out tamari. Hopefully you can see the brand, but it's San J, and this is their organic tamari, and it's a gluten-free version of soy sauce. This I have used in the past to make fried rice, and I just love the flavor that it gives. It honestly tastes exactly the same as, you know, your regular soy sauce, but it's gluten-free and it's organic. Next is salsa, and I don't have it in front of me here, so I'll put the picture here on the side of the salsa that I now use. With the ingredients on that, it can often have, you know, added gums and inflammatory oils, so just kind of be mindful of that. And then this last swap for condiments is going to be ketchup. And this one is just really simple, you guys. I've just switched to one that's organic. The one that I used to eat contained high fructose corn syrup, so this is from the brand Annie's Homegrown, and this one I actually get from Walmart. All right, now that I've shown you all the condiment swaps, I want to more so get into the food. So I have things like hot dogs, pizza, pasta, tacos, all of the goods that you can think of. Let's begin with hot dogs. The hot dogs that I used to eat just weren't quality sources of protein. And when I buy something, especially if I'm gonna make it at home, I pay attention to the ingredient label, but I've been becoming more so mindful of the quality of the food that I'm also eating now. The beef that I was eating before, it was just conventional beef. And those animals are being fed an inflammatory diet, things like grains, corn, and soy. And a cow, if you think about it, it's supposed to eat grass. But now they're being fed, you know, this diet that isn't very natural to them, which ultimately will come to affect us. And so that's one of the major reasons why I pay attention to quality. So the hot dogs that I eat now, and I have two from the same brand that I want to show you, are from the brand Teton Waters Ranch. And this is the 100% grass-fed beef in black pepper and coriander. And then I also have another one, and this one is also 100% grass-fed beef, and I think this is just their original flavor. Next up is pizza, and I have two swaps. I don't know why I have 4 fingers up, but this is 2 swaps that I want to show you, and one of them is going to be if I want to make my own pizza, this is what I use. The second one is going to be if I don't want to take the time to make my own pizza, I just want a frozen pizza. This is what I buy. So the pizza crust that I get is on the screen right now, and it is from the brand Capello's. Love the ingredients on that pizza crust. This one is also going to be dairy, gluten, grain, and soy free. And typically when I make my own pizza, I like to add things like pepperoni on top. So I have a swap for that. This one is going to be from the brand Applegate Naturals. If you remember from last week's video, you might recognize the brand. This is actually the bacon brand that I like as well. So that's the pepperoni. And then I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I like to kind of rip apart some deli meat and put it on top of the pizza. And I really like Applegate Naturals as well. This is going to be their smoked turkey breast. Now, if you don't want to make your own pizza, I totally get it. So the swap that I buy now is also from the brand Capello's, and this is their roasted red peppers and Italian sausage pizza. It is so delicious, you guys. I love their packaging too. Now this one does have cheese on it, so it's not dairy free, but it is grain, gluten, and soy free. As far as pizzas, Capello's also has a pepperoni and a cheese. And I know this is a lunch and dinner food swap video, but if you find the chocolate chip cookie dough from Capello's, get your hands on it. It is so good. Not a purchase that you're gonna regret, trust me. Okay, moving on to pasta. Now, the pasta that I used to eat were those chickpea pastas, the red lentil pastas, and these I was eating because they were higher in protein. And back then I thought, well, I need to load up on the protein and just eat a ton of protein. But the more that I kept eating it, I just couldn't with the texture anymore. It just, as much as I tried to make it, the texture I just was not a fan of, and it's a little bit more firm than regular pasta. But I wanted to find a pasta that had awesome texture and had awesome ingredients, and I finally found one, so I'll show you here in just a second the one that it is. The other thing was that when I was eating these chickpea and red lentil pastas, I would find myself being very bloated. So I don't think that my body can digest those specific legumes very well, so I've just, ever since then, I've never really touched them. Now that I've found this one, I don't think I would ever eat those chickpea or red lentil pastas anyway. So this one is going to be from the brand Jovial, and this is their gluten-free pasta. This is the lasagna sheets. So I recently made a lasagna with it. Love that it's gluten-free, love its ingredients. It's only organic brown rice flour and water. That's it. And when you're making pasta, you gotta have pasta sauce. And this was actually a recommendation you guys gave me on Instagram. It is Rao's homemade marinara sauce. I love it. It's so delicious. And I really like when you guys give me recommendations for food to try as well. This one, I love that it's made with olive oil. Nice, healthy oil, because the marinara sauce, or just the pasta sauce that I was using before, it had canola oil. So I use this for my pasta now. And if I wanna make my own pizza at home, also use this as well. Okay, and finally, tacos. For tacos, I like soft shell and hard shell tacos. And when I want to make soft shell tacos, I get the almond flour tortillas from Siete. They do have other flavors, but this one I really enjoy. And I will put a picture here on the side of the hard shell tacos, also from Siete. Then if you want to have taco seasonings, Siete also has taco seasonings. This is the one that I use now, and this is their spicy. They do have a mild, but the spicy ones are my favorite. The ones that I was using before had things like canola, soybean oil. Like, I don't understand why these inflammatory oils were in the taco seasonings that I was using before. Okay guys, at this point in the video, I've talked about the condiments and the food swaps that I've made, but I thought I would take a little step back and talk about some of the things that I look for when I'm at the grocery store wanting to buy quality sources of protein. I know that the packaging can be really confusing, and so I thought if I give you a high-level overview of some of the things that I look for, it might make it easier for you guys to find these things. So let's say, for example, I'm going to the grocery store and I want to buy chicken. When I buy chicken, I make sure that it's organic. And luckily you can find organic chicken pretty much everywhere nowadays. I personally love getting organic rotisserie chicken at Whole Foods. I mean, I remember the rotisserie chicken that I used to eat, and the ingredient label was like this long, so long. And with the ones at Whole Foods, you can either buy it plain or you can buy one that has black pepper and like Himalayan pink salt in it, super good. Then it's going to be beef. So I kind of briefly touched on this one earlier. And a couple of things that I look for is I make sure that it says it's 100% grass-fed, or I make sure that it says grass-fed and finished. If it's organic, that's awesome too. And I do have a swap that I've recently found at Costco, and it's their 100% grass-fed beef patties. So if you shop at Costco, highly recommend using this. These are hamburger patties, but I've just kind of used them up for making my lasagna, things like that. You don't necessarily have to just use them for hamburgers. And then salmon, I make sure that it is wild caught, because when it's wild caught, it's in its natural habitat and it's eating a natural diet. And the other thing I want to talk about is cooking oils real quick, especially because in today's video, I know that I talked about inflammatory oils quite a bit because they're pretty much in everything. So the cooking oils that I now use, first one is from Trader Joe's. It is coconut oil. Next up is going to be ghee, and this is from the brand Fourth and Heart. This is the Himalayan pink salt flavor. We got some quality butter. This is from Organic Valley, and it's their pasture-raised butter. These next two are from the same brand, and it is duck fat and beef tallow. And finally, I have some avocado up here. These oils I have talked more in depth about in a previous video. It was the 5 tips to start becoming the healthiest version of yourself. If you want to know a little bit more of what I talked about in that video with these oils, I will leave it linked down below. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's lunch and dinner food swaps. Next up is going to be sweet treats. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.